ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
3, 2, 1.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery. 256-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a thirsty Thursday in no man's land. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, the Bandy Man, Bailey Lowery. You know the deal. 2 hours straight of sports talk. And although there aren't as many heavy hitting stories, there's definitely still a lot to get into. Some of it going to be looking at the national championship, of course, on Monday. Others going to be focusing a little bit more on the SEC basketball, as we did get to see Tennessee face off against Georgia in a big win. It started off a little bit slow, but the Vols got it rolling in the second, and we got to see some pretty good play from Zakai Ziegler as he gets on these games. He does some things that make him look like one of the best players in the entire country. And then there's other days I'm just like, oh, yeah, he's good. He's good. He's definitely leading this team, but I don't know if I could really throw him up there with Janai Broom or maybe Mark Sears. But other times he does look like he is that third best player, I would say, in the entire SEC. And yesterday he definitely made a case for himself. There's also been some more coaching discussion over in the NFL that we'll hop into, some transfer news that you may have missed. Yeah.
I mean, still allowed to do that?
I guess so. I was looking at the odd 3 transfers, and it was like, oh, there was still some being made on the 8th, which, if you guys didn't know, the 7th was the last day people could transfer. But I'm guessing that there is, that little bit of weight that you have after putting your transfer in for somebody to accept it. I don't know who has to accept it, but you know what? There's a gray area regardless.
Well, and this is the reason why you had the news come out yesterday about how all the coaches are saying, look, let's just make this 1 10-day period.
Yeah.
Unless you are a grad transfer, let's make it 1 10-day, and then that's it. So we're
Funnel them in.
Yeah, so you're not having to constantly have a guy sitting at a computer hitting the refresh button.
Yeah. Just
constantly do it like it was 1999 and we're all trying to get tickets on Ticketmaster. Mm-hmm. Just constant refresh. Just, all right, can I get in? Nope. Can I get in? Nope. Can I get in? Nope. It is annoying. It is frustrating. And it is also something that is taking a ton of time away from the actual thing that you're supposed to be there doing. And it's coaching and getting players ready for other things like bowl games or anything else.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And for the distraction, I mean, that is huge for some of these kids. There's still Notre Dame and Ohio State. Once this game comes to an end, there's going to be another small trickle down, another wave of transfers from these two teams.
Because they have a window themselves. They have windows as far as yesterday was the last day that players that their season is currently over can get into the NFL draft. The teams like Ohio State and Notre Dame that still have a game left, they have a 5-day window after the national championship game to figure out if they want to go to the draft or not.
So you're saying that the college football scene is currently living in a glass house full of windows.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think that they realize that at all. It's like they're living in a glass house, but they're also walking around naked, and they don't know that everybody can see how stupid they look.
Oh, they should really get that one-sided glass.
Yeah, that's what they do. They think that what it is, they think it's maybe a mirror or something. I don't know, that they can see out, but people can't see in. Like you see, in Japan, those bathrooms that are on the street where you could just.
Would you trust it, Joe? Would you trust it though?
See, that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying.
A glitch in the system. Oh, no, everybody can see me.
There are these bathrooms that are outside that when you walk by them, they're clear so that you can see if anybody is in them or not. And then once you go in and you lock the door, once you lock the door, the window becomes covered.
Yeah,
it's really cool technology.
Better hope that an EMP doesn't go off whenever you're going to the bathroom in one of those glass bathrooms over in Japan. That's very specific.
That is an extremely specific thing.
Yeah, it could happen. That's what I dream about.
Does that happen often in Japan?
I don't
know.
So. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying is they're walking around this glass house and they're butt naked, and they think that nobody can see them, yet everybody's looking at how dumb they are with all the decisions that they make in college football. The whole sports world is seeing it, and they're going, nah, we're fine.
Well, here's the thing.
We're fine.
They've got
Look, they got the policy. If we never said we made a mistake, we don't have to apologize for anything.
Absolutely.
We don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and what it is they then come out with some random rule that they say, hey, okay, we're going to make this a rule now. And everybody's going, wait, haven't we already been doing that? Kind of like I think it was either this morning or yesterday. College basketball and the NCAA has said, you know what, guys? Y'all can now schedule exhibition games.
Oh.
And we're like,
Didn't Alabama have one of those?
have we been doing that?
Yeah, it's like, what do you...
Like, have we been doing that? And they said, no. Now it doesn't have to go towards charity for you guys to actually play in the exhibition games. You can just schedule them now.
Okay.
So again, you're looking around going, haven't we been doing this? Haven't we already been doing this?
There's a little bit of a gray area right there.
But we want to make it official so that everybody knows that it's okay. So basically, we just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you
But
for
now we-
making a statement.
But now we get a cut.
Yeah. Now that's what it is. Now we can make money off of the exhibition games. Guys, this is what I'm telling you. This is why college football needs to go to this. You go to the preseason model. You have 1 or 2 preseason games in college football. You schedule the POS teams there. You get them paid. You get it so that you can get your players up to speed so that game 1 doesn't look like absolute garbage for every team playing. And boom, you're off and running and you have a real schedule.
Okay, I actually wanted to throw this out there because you bring up that point, but Joel Klatt actually had a different opinion, but for only one specific game.
He does.
Yeah, I wanted Joel's opinion on it too about possibly moving the Army-Navy game instead of being, like Klatt put it, pinched in between the playoff, pinched in between bowl season, and now with the transfer portal too, all that news coming out. So instead of kind of pinching in between all these huge events in the postseason, you move it to the very beginning of the year.
I looked at that story and I was thinking the first thing, I was like, Daytona 500. Now, I know it's
what?
the Daytona 500, Joe. Come on now.
the race that's at the very end of the season for NASCAR that determines who their champion is?
No, it's at the very beginning of
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
season.
Speaking of glass houses.
It is one of those
Dumb
things.
decisions that they think that nobody sees or thinks, but yeah, they do.
It is true. It is true. It seems like it should be a race at the end of the season.
Again,
but they do it twice. So
it's kind of like those little. You ever get those box cars when you were in Boy Scouts? You had to do the box car races.
those things are awesome.
Yeah, that's NASCAR's ratings. At the very beginning, it's really, really high. And then by the end of the season, it's really, really low. And it's like a steady
the way to do
decline
it for NASCAR.
all year long.
That's the way to do it. You got to get the people excited for the biggest race, and then people will stay a little bit excited for the next few, and then it'll slowly drop off because of all the weird rule changes.
But then college basketball gets into their conference tournament, and we're like, oh, yeah, cool, okay.
and then March Madness, and then it's only like a few weeks, and you're already thinking basketball, and then you got to wait until basketball's over, and then wait, baseball season begins.
And then maybe we tune in for Talladega.
Oh no, we are.
Yeah, maybe we tune in for the 4th of July races. Maybe then, and what's bad about it is it's kind of like that sport that you don't play for like 3 years and you have to go, oh crap, I forgot about that.
Look, just because I brought up NASCAR doesn't mean you need to belittle it. I was just putting things into perspective.
You said it. I'm just going into this now because you said it. And then you start looking around and going, crap, I got to remember all the rules because I haven't seen this thing in about 3 months. Yeah. And here we go. But Joe Klatt, Army-Navy, was how we got to this point.
Another side note, I got that first week of April marked down instead of any race. I'm sorry.
I know, guys. I know.
I mean, I got the Masters, the British Open, the U.S. Open.
I know. You know what? I'll be one of the few then watching some NASCAR. But regardless, Army-Navy.
It's fun to go to.
Beginning of the season is an idea that was thrown out. Joel Klatt threw it out. And I look at it and I think about it the same way I think about the Daytona 500, where you start off with a heavy-hitting game like this one. And, I mean, you're not getting any of those types of games at the beginning of the season. You get, yes, the Chick-fil-A games that start off, whether they're in Atlanta or some other place, but those aren't games that are 100% going to get us excited. What will always get us excited is Army facing off against Navy, America's game. That will always get us excited. And then on top of that, you can look forward, and it doesn't have to get in the way of the bowl games or any of the playoffs, because that was something we noticed this year. It just kind of was there. And we loved it, but it was there. And I think it was a little bit awkward for scheduling, for fans, to try and change their minds from the playoffs back into, of course, the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, they could make it this whole big spectacle too. Like just really focus in on the Army-Navy game. Like it's the kickoff to the 2025 college football season. Army-Navy, going on right now. Like just promote the absolute mess out of it.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. We also got to see a little bit of what Tiger Woods and Roy McIlroy's TGL looked like. And I know, Joe, you're probably thinking very far away from some golf. But do you know what the TGL is?
I don't know what TGL stands for, but it does also stand for Joe Hunk not watching.
Well, you should probably give it a watch.
I mean,
look,
I've heard people. I heard like Tom talk about it.
Well, okay,
and I think that David Moulton yesterday on Tom's show said basically it's nothing but like Top Golf.
Yeah, well, kind of in a way.
Well, yeah.
Look, I talked about this a while back, well before you were on the show with us, and I will say this: it's good to see it finally come into fruition. The one thing is, I had no idea it started 2 days ago. I had no idea. And I just got to watch the replay, the insider, all of this stuff to see what this thing is all about. And it does look like a lot of fun. And maybe we'll get into a little bit more conversation about that later on as well. But I do want to look at one thing that's very important before we hop into our conversation with Ryan Sylvia from Vol Report to talk a little bit of Tennessee hoops, as they, of course, got the win last night against Georgia. But Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they showed off the prices for the food and the drinks for this year's Natty. And people are actually surprised at how cheap this stuff is. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, let's take a look at these prices.
They're the Costco of the NFL.
I see.
They don't change their prices, man.
I see the vegan dog, all right, $3. All right, okay. I could see myself getting a vegan dog. I see the classic hot dog for $2. I'm thinking, why do I even think about the vegan dog if I could just have a classic old
immaculate?
I love when his New York accent comes out. Do you notice this?
It comes out whenever I talk about hot dogs.
Do you notice he's starting to get deeper and deeper into the New York accent as this continues?
Amalgamation hot dog. That's what I call a normal classic hot dog.
I don't even know what that is.
All right, it's a combination of a lot of different meats. On top of that,
no one knows.
You can get that for $2. The cheese nachos for $3. The classic cheeseburger for $5. The bacon cheeseburger. Just throw a little bit of bacon on there, $2 extra. It's $7. Okay, that's not bad. A whole pizza.
A whole pizza?
I got a whole pizza for $18.
Dude, I'm telling you, no. Look, this is why I say they're the Costco.
Yeah.
Guys, you go to Costco. My family literally takes advantage of this anytime we walk into the door.
Mm-hmm.
$9 large pizza.
Is that what
they don't change their prices?
So that's what you're saying about Mercedes-Benz?
Yes.
They just don't change.
No, because look, they understand that it's going to take you a ton of money just to get into the stadium.
And I was getting to that, yeah.
So and I'm not just talking about this. I'm talking about Falcons games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whenever like the ATL does like their drumline competition, like it's going to be expensive just to get into the stadium. SEC championship. So they're like
the soccer.
The Atlanta FC, but they just go, you know what? Let's just go ahead and just have these prices stay low as they is, because we don't need to charge you $85 for a hot dog.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is the case, especially with the national championship. But even with the Masters, we talked about this last year. I think Brandon was the one that called us and said, "Have you looked at these prices?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." But again, the ticket prices to get into the Masters are ridiculous. So of course the food is going to be cheap. I do want to throw out, the beer is going to be extremely cheap. So if you do manage to go, you're going to be able to have a really fun time.
So if your team's getting their tail kicked, like your TCU a few years ago, you're going to have plenty of time and money to be able to get you alcohol so that you forget that this game ever happened.
And combine that with some hot chocolate, because it's only $3 on top of that. A large premium draft beer, it's going to cost you $10.50. A normal one? Only $5.
You get an adult hot chocolate there.
Okay. An adult hot chocolate?
I think they're all the exact same. But
I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
Yes.
You can make that happen, though. You can make that happen.
Just that now you start getting me thinking about it. Like I'm sure they're gonna have to have a alcohol liquor place over there.
Oh, yeah,
probably.
That's exactly how it's going to be.
Put a little Irish in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I do want to say that if you do get in, it is going to cost you quite a bit of money. The lowest tickets I've seen right now for nosebleeds, $1,371. Now, I will say, that is actually a pretty good price to get into a national championship, a game that you might only go to once in your lifetime, because if you look at the average price of the last few national championship games, last year, this is the average price, according to Statista, they said it was $3,282. Georgia TCU is $1,626. Alabama Georgia back in 2022, only $738, according to Statista. Now again, this is Alabama going back to the national championship after 2021 when the ticket prices were a whopping $3,610. And that doesn't even compare to Alabama, Georgia back in 2018. Wow. When this is when all of these Alabama and Georgia fans spent their money on these one tickets and then they threw out their season tickets for the next few years.
You also need to remember what was happening during that game as well.
Yeah.
Because that was when Donald Trump walked the field.
Yeah, $4,040. I got to see Donald Trump at Alabama, Georgia.
I saw that over at Disney. I saw Donald's truck over at Disney. You go over there and honk the horn and whack, whack.
But I'm just saying, I just got to say, like, getting in is going to be pricey. And then if you get down to the lower bowl, those tickets are going to run you $10,000+.
Well, and you're talking about two fan bases that kind of have some, just say, very wealthy people.
Oh, yeah.
And also, because with this being Atlanta, and because of the two fan bases, this isn't one where everybody is kind of just in Texas or they're in California. There's Notre Dame fans everywhere. My wife and I know some Notre Dame fans that are going over for the game. I know Ohio State fans that are going over from the game because they live here. Yeah. So this is a sport and this is a national championship where it doesn't matter where this game was played. You're going to have fan bases in that city that's going to be able to go and do it. Like, you're not going to have to worry about, again, the TCU's going, well, how are we going to be able to go for this? Like, these are the two teams that would say, all right, it's fine. We can still fill up the stadium if this game was being played in Alaska.
I sent my kid to Notre Dame in the first place, and I also got a little chipping from the golden helmets that they wear, so I think I'm pretty set, and I'll buy these $1,000 tickets like it's nobody's business. Also, for Ohio State, they buy every single one of their players. That might just not be what I'm saying. I'm just
because nobody in college football is doing that now.
More money, though.
Totally not.
Even more money, though. I'm just throwing that out there. Either way, let's hop into a break. I want to know, are you guys thinking about maybe buying some of these tickets? 256-576.
97.7
is the number to call into the show.
We all sound constipated.
Not all to talk about the national championship ticket prices. You can talk about whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and of course, some Havoc hockey as well. As we hop into our first break, we look towards our conversation with Ryan Sylvia from VolReport.com on the other side here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
It's time to get ready for game day. That means Alabama football and tailgating. Whether you're tailgating at home or at Bryant-Denny, visit Brooks & Collier for North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers like Big Green Egg, Blaze, Delta Heat, Memphis, and Traeger. Satisfy any palate with our wall of rubs and seasonings. For all your tailgating needs, visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for over 75 years. Roll Tide.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. We're going to be a little bit warmer across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures actually seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the low and mid 50s, dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s as we head into the overnight. Early Friday morning, a partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s, dropping into the 40s as we head into the overnight. Now, rain is going to move into the Tennessee Valley Friday night, Saturday morning, and that's going to stick with us through at least a chunk of Saturday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Welcome back in to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, Bailey Lowery, here in No Man's Land on a thirsty Thursday. Just like to remind you that this show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. And remember that Fleming always shows up. On top of that, you can also find us over on WZZN TV, where you can join in on the chat box. It's a nice little economy over there.
Chat box.
And on top of that, the phone lines are open to you, 256-576.
97.7.
And make sure you guys check out ESPN or 977ESPN.com to keep updated on everything we got going on. Of course, Tom Abraham going to be over at the Huntsville Boat Show, which starts at 2 today. So he's going to be the one that really, sounds the alarm, sets the thing off, and gets everybody over there, at least in his mind. And then on top of that, you can also find some great new zone deals as we've been restocking throughout the weeks, and you can start saving your money like it's going out of business. Now, we will hop into the phone lines, the Neighbors Wealth Management phone lines, to talk with one Mr. Ryan Sylvia from Vol Report. Is Tennessee able to get a big win against Georgia last night? That is a top 25 ranked opponent that they were able to win against, 74-56. Ryan, how the people feeling in Knoxville?
I think it's split in some ways. I think most people feel pretty good about the men's basketball team right now.
Yeah.
There is a section that got a little scarred by that Florida game where Tennessee got ran out of the building, but I think you have to take two really nice responses, a win on the road against Texas and then a dominant second half to beat Georgia. And I think most of the fan base right now in Knoxville is happy with how things are going, and especially if you just take a step back and look at where this program is. They're number one for, 5 straight weeks, the longest they've been number one in the country in program history, in a program that, frankly, doesn't have a lot of men's basketball history behind it. Mm-hmm. Things are going really, really well right now for Rick Barnes and company.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And talk a little bit, because we haven't gotten into the conversation about that Florida matchup, at least with you. What was really the biggest problem, or what was Florida doing that really shut this team down?
I think that was just one of those games that you just completely throw away. And I'm sure that they spent a lot of time watching the film and learning lessons, but it just felt like it wasn't the team that we've watched all season, the team that just dominated out of conference play, that has now just completely dismantled both Arkansas and Georgia inside Thompson Bowling Arena. And they were getting to their spots for a lot of that Florida game and just simply missing shots. So to me, it just came down to some nights you're not going to hit your shots, and the other team is, like Florida was, and you just better hope that it's not in March, and you'll definitely take it in the first week of conference play instead of later on in the season.
No doubt about that. And this Tennessee team was able to get a pretty big win against the Texas team that a lot of people look at. And right now, of course, not having the best of luck within SEC play, but it is still a team that is capable of making a late March run. But talk a little bit about that matchup last night against the Georgia Bulldogs. It started off a little bit slow, but I think everything started going in Tennessee's favor as this one came to an end.
Man, yeah, it felt like that Florida game in the first half a little bit, where Tennessee, especially at the beginning of the game, was getting to their spots and not knocking down shots. And then maybe as the second half or the first half kind of counted down, they weren't getting to their spots even. So the offense was anemic to get things started. It was a really tough watch there in the mid-20s at halftime. but they just came out completely rejuvenated after that halftime break. You could tell the energy completely switched, and all of a sudden you have guys like Zakai Ziegler, and he's not only doing what he does in the defensive end and creating opportunities in transition with steals, and now the program's leading steals leader throughout his career, but he's also knocking down huge threes, and they come in spurts too. There was like a 3-4 minute span where he had like 9 points on 3 made 3-pointers, some steals, and a bunch of assists. So he turned it on. Jordan Gainey scored 19, a quiet 19 it felt like, because of how loud Zakai Ziegler's 14 or 16 points were. But he gets 14 of those in the second half. And so even though Chaz Lanier is in a little bit of a slump right now, that the coaching staff, every time he talks to them, feels like it's something that he'll shoot out of, and just kind of one of those shooting streaks that shots aren't falling. But you had other guys step up, like Jordan Gainey, like Zakai Ziegler. Cade Phillips is playing really well for Tennessee right now. I mean, he is a monster lob threat right there in the dunker spot. So things started to click in the second half. It looked more like the Tennessee we've seen all season. They just have to be able to put that together for 40 straight minutes, especially when you have big games on the horizon, like in Auburn, or like in Alabama, and all these great SEC teams that they're going to have to face still.
Ryan T. Sylvia from VolReport.com. Of course, that's where you can find him over on the Twitter sphere or X. But I will say this new kid that I feel like he's a new kid, because we didn't see him last year, at least that much. We've already seen more from him this year that we have all of last season. But it is that Cade Phillips kid, and the connection that he had with Zakai Ziegler. It seemed like these guys have been playing for years. Can you talk a little bit more about where Phillips came from and how he really managed a spot on this team?
Yeah, he's from Alabama. His dad actually played football at Alabama, so he's got some SEC roots in him. Rick Barnes likes to call him farm strong, and you can see that on the court. I mean, he gets up there, and he's someone that before the season, I talked to a lot of the newcomers, so the transfers and then the freshman Bishop Boswell, and I asked them, like, who's someone that maybe you didn't know much about? Like, I'm sure you came in and you knew Zakai Ziegler was one of the best point guards in the country and things like that. But who's someone you came in, didn't maybe know much about, and really quickly you're like, wow, this guy's good. And a good majority of those newcomers said Cade Phillips. And we've seen that early. And I think that's a really big deal for Tennessee, because with J.P. Estrella out for the season with the foot injury, they were really thin in the post. And they're thin as an entire team, but all of a sudden you're looking at Felix Okpara as really the only true center on the roster. Cade Phillips has slid into that center role, more of a natural power forward like Igor Milicic is. Both of them have kind of had to step up and play some center, but on both ends of the floor, Cade Phillips has been phenomenal. I think you have to be really excited about kind of the sophomore leap he's taken instead of a sophomore slump, especially in his first year where he's getting real sustained play time. And it's, like I said, it's just a big deal for Tennessee to get that type of production from someone that there was a lot of maybe questions about how much he could contribute in just his second year, and he's doing it at a high level on a roster that really needs it.
Well, you mentioned Igor just a second ago, and Milicic had 7 offensive rebounds last night in this, and I was like, again, you talk power forward, 6'10", he's helping down low a lot. Like, how big is that as you start to go in through SEC play, especially when like an Ole Miss team that we just watched beat Alabama the other night because of what they have down low? How big is that going to be as you continue to go through this schedule?
Yeah, you hit it right off the top with his rebounding. He is an incredible rebounder. I mean, if he can get to the 10-point mark, it feels like he's a double-double machine, and especially what we saw early in the season and out of conference play, he can score the ball really well too. And he's another guy that maybe shots aren't falling as often as this staff thinks that they will by the end of the season, and that his numbers could even go up on the offensive end. But just his ability to rebound, and then also how kind of mobile and athletic he is for being 6'10". Like he gets down the court fast. He can run in transition. If he gets a rebound, they don't care if he puts it on the ground. And, of course, they'd rather him get it to Zakai Ziegler. But if he's running in transition, has the ball in his hands, they feel fine with it too. He can stretch the floor on offense. So he's that type of kind of mobile, physical when he needs to be, power forward that can be so rare to find. And once again, without J.P. Estrella, and all of a sudden it got thin in the post, the way that he stepped up and played defense against some of these elite SEC bigs has been a big deal for Tennessee.
Ryan, looking a little bit forward, you get Vanderbilt. This one it's always a fun one in Tennessee, of course. And then you have Mississippi State, another top-ranked team. And then you got Auburn, Kentucky, Florida. I mean, this is just – it is a gauntlet wherever you look in the SEC. Talk a little bit about that upcoming matchup on the 18th against this Vanderbilt team and what you need to see from Tennessee to keep on their winning way.
Man, you really don't get a break in the SEC this year. It feels like it's one of the best basketball conferences for a year that we've seen since like the ACC in the early 2000s or something like it's been an incredible run so far. And it makes it even more important to, one, win at home, which Tennessee's been able to do, but two, when you do go on the road and you get a team like Vanderbilt, who's not bad by any means, but a team that Tennessee's better than, you need to take care of business and you need to win those games because you're going to have to go on the road and play at Auburn. That's a game that's a really tough task to win. You're going to have to host Florida again, who had your number in the first one. That's going to be tough. So when you have opportunities to win games, you really have to take advantage of it. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, it's always a fun one, like you said. I'm sure there'll be a lot of orange in that crowd over at Memorial, and Tennessee's going to have to go out and shoot the ball well early, I think. I think you'll need to see Chaz Lanier maybe start to find his groove a little bit when he gets some rare open looks because of how people have been guarding him recently. He's going to have to knock him down, and if Tennessee goes out and can't shoot the ball early and falls into another slump, then that's something Vanderbilt's capable of taking advantage of. So it'll take a nice game, but I would really like to see that offense take a step for a nice full 40 minutes of positive offensive basketball.
Yeah, Ryan, I kind of wanted to ask you this question, too, as we've been talking about it, because I've seen this question being floated around kind of among the SEC space, and that with how similar the seasons have been playing out, both on the football side and the basketball side, in terms of it seems like every team in the SEC just out for each other's throats. In your opinion, would you actually think it would have been harder to win SEC versus SEC in football this year or basketball right now with the way it's going?
That's an interesting question. I like that kind of hypothetical. I think the top. Wow, I would say basketball right now, and I still feel like I know a lot of people are talking about the Big Ten as maybe trying to take over the SEC in football recently. I'll still take the SEC. The Big Ten feels very, very top heavy to me, and then you get past the first 3-4 teams, and all of a sudden it's a massive drop off where SEC, I mean, there's going to be some bottom feeders, but you go down the list, and even some of those teams that feel like they're kind of in the middle of the road are really good football teams. But man, basketball, the worst team in the SEC in basketball right now is probably South Carolina. I don't know if anyone feels good about going on the road and playing out South Carolina still. Like, I don't think that's a game that you can kind of just chalk up as a win. So I'll say basketball is tougher to win in conference right now, which is a crazy thing to say if you just look back even a few years ago. But it's really, I mean, it's tough to think of a sport that the SEC isn't the best conference in. I'll give it to them in football. Obviously in men's basketball, they'll give it to them in women's basketball. Baseball, they run everything. Softball, that they run everything, especially with the addition of Oklahoma. And you just kind of can keep going and going. I mean, you even look at like women's tennis, and it's kind of run by the SEC. So
we got some listeners that would. I agree with that.
There's one.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's the best conference in what feels like everything, and I guess it does mean more right now.
Well, and Ryan Sylvia joining us right now from the Vol Report. You can follow him on X at Ryan T. Sylvia. And I know we're talking a ton of basketball, but you guys have also had a lot of football news over like the last 24 hours. Like, it's not just it is over the last few days. Like, this all came down in 24 hours. First one I'll ask about you with is James Pierce Jr. officially going into and announcing that he's going to be entering the NFL draft. We all kind of knew that he would. But it's also kind of weird because I don't know if it's because of the teams that are at the top 5 of the NFL draft or what people are now seeing James Pierce as. But when we went into the season, there was talk of him potentially being the number 1 overall draft pick. And even you said in your article, like, he's still projected as a first round. Why is he like kind of dropping in some of these mock drafts, even though we've seen how dominant of a player he is in the need of having 2 defenders on him at any point in time to stop him from getting the quarterback?
I think that top 5 first overall pick hype was people projecting that he would take a statistical step forward, and I think he was a better player last year than he was as a sophomore, but the stats didn't maybe show it, and sometimes that can be enough to scare some teams off, I guess. I still I think it was still a little hot take-ish to have him, like I think CBS did at the end of last season, as the number 1 pick.
Yep.
Especially at his position where there is a lot of talent. Like, you can kind of wait a little bit to get really good edge rushers, it feels like recently. So I think that plays into it as well. Like, if you're the Titans and you're looking at who you're going to draft first overall, if you keep that pick, you're probably not taking an edge rusher with that first overall pick. You're probably looking at a different position, whether that is quarterback or something else. So I think that plays into it a little bit, but he should still be a first-round pick, and I think that's still a massive win for Tennessee to be able to point at a defensive player now that's been a first-round pick. So you'll have Darnell Wright, an offensive lineman who was a top 10 selection 2 years ago, and now James Pierce Jr. is a first-round pick. That really helps in recruiting. So he should still be above that fold, but to me it was just, hey, maybe his sacks weren't as much as we thought they could have been. Maybe his tackles for loss or things like that, but he was still a huge impact for Tennessee. You think back to that Florida game. Yeah. It's a game that goes to overtime and Tennessee wins. He has a strip and fumble recovery at the goal line on Graham Mertz that's ultimately the difference in the entire game. So he does little things like that too, and I have no hesitation to say he'll have a really nice NFL career, like Byron Young's off to with the Rams. He's one of the best young outside linebackers, play the same position at Tennessee that James Pierce just did.
Well, sticking on the defense, you also have the defensive coordinator, Tim Banks, working on an extension, and, CeeLo was talking about that and everything. But with him, I know we focus so much about Josh Heupel, and we focus on this offense, and why isn't this team snapping the football 5 seconds, after the last play, like we were focused on that. But this wasn't the same offense, but Tim Banks and the job that he did at defense, I don't think enough fans are focusing on that part because of how big of a role it played into getting Tennessee to the national championship, or not national championship, but the college football playoff.
He's done a phenomenal job of doing more with less is kind of what it's come down to for me. Especially when he got here, and the defense wasn't good the first 2 years in 2020 to 2022. But if you look at the rosters, they had some guys that were dependable, but overall, it was not SEC caliber talent on that defense. And Matthew Butler, who was really good on the defensive line for Tennessee in 2021, and he's carving out a little bit of a secure job with the Raiders in the NFL, but he played the entire game on the defensive line. Now you're starting to get the guys in where Tim Banks can really dial up what he wants to and be confident that his players are going to succeed. And we just talked about James Pierce Jr. That's part of the deal, too, is James Pierce didn't have to be on the field for 60 snaps a game. It was fine if he was on the field for 27, 28, 29, 30. And Tennessee had the depth behind him that there's not a crazy drop-off, if even really a drop-off with how good Joshua Josephs just played last year. So he's starting to get the talent in, and you're starting to see the results, and it's all been building in the right direction. It's all taken steps towards a better and better defense. 2021 was really bad. 22 was bad. 23 was pretty good, and then 2024 they had one of the best defenses in the country. So if he can kind of keep that trend going in the right direction, it'll be a really big deal for Tennessee as a team, because that's the reason they were in the playoffs, is how good the defense was. And I think it's a massive deal Tennessee was able to retain him with some teams like Miami, Clemson trying to get in the mix to maybe steal him away.
Well, and then, again, 24 hours, a lot of stuff happened. The other part was the fact that one of the most legendary Tennessee football players just got selected as part of the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame class, John Henderson. And, this guy, for a lot of younger people, including the two that I'm doing the show with, they don't realize the impact that this man had on a football field, not just for Tennessee, but also when he got to the NFL.
Well, I can't think of John Henderson without thinking of the ESPN commercial where he's getting slapped in the face and all of that. So I think you have to start there. But, yeah, he's someone that doesn't get, I think, as much credit for how good he was, and someone that a lot of people know him maybe more for his NFL career than his college career, which speaks to how good he was in the NFL. But when people start talking about the best Tennessee defenders throughout their history, you talk about the Eric Berrys, the Al Wilsons, the Reggie Whites, which are elite, legendary players. But John Henderson's in that mix, and I don't think his name gets brought up enough. And it's good to see that he's getting some recognition. It's been nice to see, when that news came out, that Tennessee fans have kind of gravitated to it and paid their respects towards what he gave this program, which was a monster defensive presence for the Vols. So I thought that news was really cool, and it kind of continues a nice streak. You saw Eric Berry and Al Wilson both recently getting those College Football Hall of Fame nods. So Tennessee's defense isn't just good now. It's kind of been the calling card for the Vols throughout their history.
No doubt about that. Ryan, we appreciate you, as always, giving us so much information. Let the people know where they can continue to follow your information on Tennessee sports just altogether.
Yeah, I'm over on Twitter, X, at Ryan T. Sylvia. You can follow our site at Tennessee Rivals, and then we're at volreport.com. men's basketball coverage, football coverage never stops, but the Lady Vols in action tonight. We back Pat night, so some fundraising awareness for Alzheimer's and the Pat Summit Foundation as the Lady Vols host Mississippi State tonight. So we have you covered, everything Tennessee athletics at VolReport.com.
Appreciate it as always, Ryan. Enjoy the weekend, man, and have fun watching some Tennessee basketball.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Great stuff as always. I know our ESPN Winchester fans really, really love the conversations with Ryan Sylvia.
And if you want to know more about John Henderson, just go look up John Henderson headbutt.
Okay.
Because again, even though I do not like the Jaguars whatsoever, let's just say the man was fired up to go out to a football game every single Sunday.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was a dangerous man. I mean, that was around the time of college football too, and even in the NFL, where guys' pads were bigger than themselves, and him in pads with 98. He looked like the scariest guy in a football field.
And we just talked about James Pierce Jr. going into the NFL draft, and you start looking at the lineage of players that have played on that defensive line for Tennessee. And yes, obviously Reggie and the Reverend comes up a lot in this, but John Henderson does as well. And John Henderson's part of that group that was post-national championship in 98, still winning 10 and 11 games every single year. But then he gets into the NFL, and that's where you really saw like a lot of that. And that's the reason why Ryan brings that up, is because of how much of an impact Henderson had in the NFL level as compared to what he did in college football. And still in college football, the man was terrifying.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I feel like for James Pierce Jr., if he did put on those gigantic pads and he had that big old face mask and he had that defensive number, I feel like they'd kind of look the same. I mean, Henderson was probably a little bit bigger.
Hands are just, I've got a picture pulled up of him right now. And I mean, those things are oven mitts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think like they're the oversized oven mitts. Like you got to go to like Bed Bath & Beyond to get those big oven mitts. Like that's what this guy has.
No,
like,
yeah,
I think if he ever shook my hand, he would swallow my arm. Not just my hand, he would swallow my arm.
No, it's like shaking Wes's hand. I mean, this is just the difference. The differences between normal people and then people who are actually playing in the NFL, especially back in the 80s and 90s. We're going to hop into a break. When we get back, finish out the first hour, so stick with us because phone lines are open for the rest of the way. 256-576.
97.7
is the number to get in here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, G-Bank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a G-Bank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College football playoff championship game Monday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The line remaining steady. Ohio State, the 8.5-point favorite, 46.5 the total. Saturday in the NFL AFC divisional round, Kansas City laying 8.5 against Houston. Saturday in the NFC, Detroit 9.5-point favorites over Washington. In the AFC, Baltimore a 1.5 road favorite at Buffalo, while the Eagles are laying 6 at home against the Rams at Lincoln Financial Field, 43.5 the total. College basketball today, Jacksonville State a 2-point home dog to Louisiana Tech, 141.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. We're going to be a little bit warmer across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures actually seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the low and mid 50s, dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s as we head into the overnight. Early Friday morning, a partly sunny sky. Friday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s, dropping into the 40s as we head into the overnight. Now, rain is going to move into the Tennessee Valley Friday night, Saturday morning, and that's going to stick with us through at least a chunk of Saturday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Joe, that ain't good enough. Come on, Joe. Ah! Thank you, baby. Thank you. You making blood come from my damn mouth. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You gotta make blood come to the mouth. You can't just smack me and don't hit me hard. That's bullshit. Yeah, when you hit a motherfucker, you hit that motherfucker. Let's kick their ass, motherfucker.
Yes, John.
Kick their ass.
Yep. That's him.
That's
him.
John Henderson.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And that is John Henderson every game and every day when he was playing football. If you wonder about this, John Henderson is a different animal.
Yeah,
that man was a different animal.
Yeah, imagine being a rookie back in the day having to line up against that.
Yeah, you know what you look like? You look like the guy on special teams in Waterboy.
Mm-hmm.
Terrified.
Yep.
Because you're looking across from you and you see John Henderson and hands that are about a foot wide each. And you got to try to stop that man. Now do you see the reason why the Jags were trying to go to the Super Bowl like every single year that they were in, and John Henderson was on their defensive line?
Well, when they first came into the NFL, I mean, that instantly would put fear in people's eyes. And I feel like we just don't have that same type of energy. Now we got freaking Jameis Winston, Guys, we're going to go out there and we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a wonderful time. God bless me with this.
Look.
Win, baby. Win.
No. You cannot make fun of people's voices and not mention Tim Tebow's, okay?
Well, no, that's the thing.
Look,
I'd make fun of his career more than his actual voice.
The man is an amazing person,
wonderful
an
dude.
Awesome human being.
Nicest dude
and
in the
I
world.
swear, probably if I was in the locker room with him, I may think differently of this. But anytime I ever hear the man try to get fired up, it just sounds like whining to me.
Yeah, well, him and Patrick Mahomes, I feel like would have similar impacts on me in the locker room, where I'm just like, I can't take this guy serious. Come on,
like I know you my boy. Like, look, I have the ability, and we all know this. I can get down a few octaves when I'm talking. Like, I can talk like this, or I can just get down like this, and I can talk like and somehow I'm getting from the raging Cajun there. I don't know why I sound like that, old Rambo. But
I know you went from like normal Joe Hunt to Go Tigers.
That's right, Go Tigers. Now we're gonna go right out there. We're gonna beat them down on the line. We're gonna get right there. You gonna go to special team. Go in there now. Let's go.
Yep.
256-576
4
977
is the number 2 getting in. As we got Jeremy on the phone lines. Jeremy, how you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Patrick Mahomes sounds like that 10-year-old kid. His mom was a real estate agent, and his dad was like some big wig in town, and like he showed up at practice with like the elite gear, like everybody else had the stuff that the coach handed out, but he showed up with his own helmet, his own shoulder pads, his own uniform technically. He was that kid. That's every time I see him talk, I'm like, He's 10 years old. So
I think of a green frog.
Again, seeing what his dad did and the fact that he was a Major League Baseball player, I kind of actually don't disagree with you on that. Like, I could actually see him being like that. I don't know what his mom did, but with his dad and everything, I could kind of see that. Yeah, no, I don't think
she was either a real estate agent, an interior designer, or owned a boutique.
And dad went out and threw flames for the New York Mets and the Texas Rangers.
So I've got a question for y'all, and it deals with Tom Brady. And I heard this brought up yesterday in a conversation. Is Tom Brady could this not be considered insider trading?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. This is I can't give you the answer to this because I don't know as far as the rule book with this, but it does seem odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it does seem very, very odd because part of this deal, and I know that with Tom Brady and now that he is an owner, there's certain things that he can and can't do. Very similar to, I think that if I remember the rules correctly, since he's now an official owner of the Raiders, he can't participate in like the coaches' interviews that take place. Like what happens for a lot of people who don't know, like you'll have these media members, the guys are going to be on the call doing the play-by-play, color analyst, on-field stuff. They do like a Zoom meeting like on Thursday or Friday before the game, and everybody gets to kind of ask all the players questions and coaches and all that. I don't think he can participate in that now, if I remember that correctly. Like he's very, very handcuffed in what he can do on Fox now.
Well, what happens when they're in the game and it's like a lull and they're having to come up with something to talk about, and then the other announcer looks at him and goes, "So what do you think about Ben Jones?"
No, and that's you're not wrong.
You know what?
Yeah, no, you are not wrong about it. And I know there's a list somewhere because I remember reading the list of everything that he can and can't do, because there's even rules about him talking about other coaches, and like he can't talk negatively about.
Is that why
certain
he's so
coaches.
bad?
And it may be like he has a ton of handcuffs put on him because of, I don't call it double dipping because he's not, but or double jeopardy or anything like that with him. But he does have a lot of limitations on him because of his business venture.
I mean, you look at the fact that he is getting to scout every team every Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's got all these insiders. He's got everybody. And I understand that owners probably have people telling them stuff, feeding them stuff from other teams, but he's really got all these insiders that he can go to going, "Hey, what have you heard coming out of Philadelphia?" Or "What have you heard coming out of Kansas City?" And I mean, it's like, what?
I know they got to ask first. Am I talking to broadcaster Tom Brady? Am I talking to owner Tom Brady?
Yeah, like there would be sometimes like that. So I'll look at my friends. I'll be like, "Look, you're not talking to Joe Hunk. You're talking to Joseph Hunkapiller." Like there's that sort of thing. Now I found the list. Here's the things that Tom Brady is restricted to do as a Fox NFL analyst because he's a minority owner of the Raiders. He cannot visit the team facilities. Says Brady can't visit or enter facilities of any team other than the Raiders. Mm-hmm. He cannot go to practices, which obviously a lot of these analysts do that because a lot of times on Sunday Night Football, a team will come up with a trick play and you'll hear them go, "We saw this in practice on Thursday." Like Tom can't do that. He's also cannot attend production meetings. So Brady can't attend the pregame production meetings with coaches or players, either in person or virtually. He can have, and this is the no public criticism part, Brady cannot publicly criticize officials or other teams. He cannot talk gambling or tampering policies. Brady must follow the NFL's gambling and anti-tampering policies, and his communication is limited because he is strictly social communication with members of other clubs. So he has a ton of stuff. So basically what he has to do is he has to write down a list of questions, and he has to give those to his broadcast partners so that his broadcast partners can be the ones that ask that during the meeting so that he's able to talk about it during the game. It's a laundry list, and Fox is basically having to bend over backwards just for him because of this. But again, when you're the GOAT, I mean, this kind of is a thing.
Yeah.
Is this his last year? Will he be back at Fox next year? I mean, there's no way he can continue.
I think that a lot of people do want him out just because of how awkward it is and how weird it is as far as all of the limitations and kind of the way he is handcuffed on broadcasts.
Because like listening to him, I'm with you. It
thanks for
doesn't
the call, Jeremy.
It doesn't feel like we're getting the full experience.
No, you're
Like,
not. No, you're absolutely not. Because, I mean, I'm sure, like, you know, I have, like, all these rules that I look up and I go and I read over right before we start a broadcast, like, especially with football games or basketball games or, like, the hockey games we're doing this weekend. I bet you Tom's got one right beside him. Cannot criticize, cannot do, like, he has to remember this stuff at all times.
And he's looking at that.
Remember, do not talk about the band.
Yeah, do not. Absolutely. Yeah, again, so think about it. At some point in time during this game, like with the Lions, if they said, so, Ben Johnson's up for a lot of jobs.
Just don't put him on the game.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he supposed to do?
It's a $375 million contract he signed with Fox, 10 years. He doesn't need the money, but it's there. Either way, more to come in the second hour here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store, helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from Alabama women's basketball head coach Christy Curry ahead of tonight's matchup with South Carolina.
Well, you know, they say if you build it, people will come. We need folks to come, and we need folks to come back, and we need folks to be at every single home game. You know, Thursday night at 7, the 23rd, Vandy at 1. So it's not just about Thursday. It's about each and every game. I mean, this team, you know, 16 wins, 2 losses. We need folks to come out and support us. You know, regardless of the opponent, this team deserves for folks to be in the stands. We're excited for Thursday night. You know, we just played and wow, what a crazy crowd at Ole Miss. You know, I think there were 8,000 in there and we kind of kept them out of it at times. They got in it late. So, you know, we all know that a home court advantage can really make a difference. And we hope our folks will come out and continue to support this team here in the end of January and early February.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for the Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. The Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, G-Bank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a G-Bank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College football playoff championship game Monday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The line remaining steady. Ohio State, the 8.5-point favorite, 46.5 the total. Saturday in the NFL AFC divisional round, Kansas City laying 8.5 against Houston. Saturday in the NFC, Detroit 9.5-point favorites over Washington. In the AFC, Baltimore a 1.5 road favorite at Buffalo, while the Eagles are laying 6 at home against the Rams at Lincoln Financial Field, 43.5 the total. College basketball today, Jacksonville State a 2-point home dog to Louisiana Tech, 141.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. We're going to be a little bit warmer across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures actually seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the low and mid 50s, dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s as we head into the overnight. Early Friday morning, a partly sunny sky. Friday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s, dropping into the 40s as we head into the overnight. Now, rain is going to move into the Tennessee Valley Friday night, Saturday morning, and that's going to stick with us through at least a chunk of Saturday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
3, 2, 1.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery, 256-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Morning Blitz. I am Joe Hunk. He is John Abraham.
That's me.
Almost said Joe Abraham. That is not myself. He is on ESPN Winchester in the mornings. Yeah, no, not us. He is John Abraham, though. That is the Bandyman Bailey Lowery, and your phone lines are open to you. 256-576-4.
97.7.
Look, don't stare at me now.
Continue.
I got so used to saying
Just
4 the entire time.
It's all
okay.
right. It's fine.
So now there are a few things that we need to clear up before we get to the phone lines, and as well as you're watching on WZZN TV. As you're going, there's a few things. One, yes, Tom Brady is going to be on the call for the Lions-Commanders game, which is extremely interesting.
Extremely awkward as well.
Awkward. I mean, you just can't ask him the question about what he thinks about Ben Johnson. But the sad thing is that if the Lions are way up or if the Lions are way down,
how are you going to kill time? What did you just find?
Is this real?
I mean, is it?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what do you mean?
The Milwaukee Brewers are announcing that Bob Uecker has passed away.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's tough.
I literally got to meet the man one time.
At least you got to meet him.
I did. It was in passing. It was when the Brewers were doing a scrimmage at Joe Davis before the regular season started. And Bob Uecker was there. And I got to meet him then.
Well,
that's the only time I've ever got to meet him. It was in passing as he was getting back on the bus because it got rained out. Wow, that's
a tough
just,
one.
That's just a wrench, especially for somebody like myself that just absolutely is infatuated with reciting the lines of Major League and Major League 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
At the age of 90, so he did live a full life.
He lived
plenty of lives.
I wish I could live a third of the life that he's lived. Like, I mean, I would take a fifth. I mean, I'm sure he took a fifth or two, but I'll take a fifth.
He had fun doing it.
That's all I'm saying. And he would love that joke, by the way. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 256-576.
97.7.
Bob Uecker is gone, but we have Steeler Mike joining us right now on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, the Morning Blitz. How's it going, man?
Just a bit outside.
Tried the corner and missed. Yep.
Yeah, yep. Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. Vaughn has walked the bases full.
You can't say that on the air. It doesn't matter. Nobody's listening anyway.
That's right. Oh man, that's a tough hit, man. What a personality. Just golly, didn't even know the man was ill. Maybe he wasn't. Don't know.
I mean, look, he's been doing baseball for heavens knows how long. He's been doing it for the Brewers for I don't know how long. And you know, again, it's just one of those things that, like, I think that this is one of those that you see it. It's a kick in the nuts, but then at the exact same time, you're like, dude, I love him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you just start to remember all the awesome things that you remember about him.
Yeah, and John too. I just sent you this clip on as well because Rocket City Trash Pandas just posted on Twitter as well a voice clip of Bob Uecker actually discovering what the Trash Pandas are for the first time.
I'll get that hooked up as well. Steeler Mike, what do you got, man?
What's up, bro?
I to me, I just hate it that Euchre's not going to get to see the Pirates win the division this year. You know, that's just sad. But anyway,
you guys were talking.
You guys were talking about John Henderson early. You know, obviously a Tennessee fan that I am, and growing up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and going to a lot of those games in the late '90s. I actually saw Henderson playing the state championship in high school at Pearl Cone.
Yep.
And they put him at receiver on offense. Would throw 6-7 yard hitches to him, and what he did to high school defensive backs, even in the state championship, was just embarrassing. He would literally put his hand on their helmet, shove them into the Vanderbilt turf, and go as far as he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy was a freak athlete, not just a big defensive lineman. He was a freak athlete. He could play basketball, could catch the football. I mean, but just what a stud, and I love the fact that you guys got to talk about him a little bit and how much he meant to those Tennessee programs in the 90s, because he was a absolute stud on some really, really good defenses. But, guys, I'll hang up. I love your show.
Hey, thanks,
like I've told you guys before, as an outside sales guy riding around all day, listening to you guys, it makes the day go that much faster and quicker. Thanks so much.
I appreciate
Thank you,
that,
sir.
Steeler Mike. Good stuff from him. And we do have that call, Bandy, and I have heard this call actually. It is an interesting one. Let's just play it for you right here.
They've got some great names in the minor leagues.
They
these
do.
days.
They really do, and it's good. I'm glad.
Trash Pandas.
What is it again?
The Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Trash Pandas.
Yep.
Breaking ball, good for a strike, about knee high, and it's 0-1.
He actually brought us a shirt.
Yeah, a shirt and a hat. What's the shirt? There it is. Rocket City Trash Pandas. There it is.
That's it.
Swinging a foul back.
Basically a raccoon jumping out of a trash can.
Yeah. Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to wrap his head around this newfangled sport.
Rocket City
Trash
Pandas.
What the hell is a trash panda?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like that. That's something that would probably go diving to look at my careers. They'd have to go into the trash to find my career. Like, that's something that Bob Uecker would say.
It would. That was where he made a lot of his clips off of. Where he made a lot of his history. It was the self-deprecating type of jokes.
Yeah.
That were really just like. I feel wrong for laughing at this, but this guy, he's just hilarious, and it's not just making fun of himself, but making fun of a lot of things within baseball. But everybody knew it was within love. I mean, this is just the guy's style.
Well, no, it was because there's things that he said. Obviously, the Major League and the Major League 2. Like, I could literally sit and recite that movie verbatim, back to back. Okay?
Him being in that movie kind of gave everybody the idea that this guy he's a total jokester through and through.
Well, and quite frankly, like, I sit and I try to think about the genesis of me doing what I do in life now, like between doing sports talk radio as well as doing the play-by-play stuff that I do. And I know that we're kind of getting ready for baseball season right now. Like, it's kind of still having to not clicked with me yet that at the end of this month, we're about to have like UAH baseball.
Oh, bro.
it's kind of one of those like, oh crap, baseball season's here. Like, I need jackets.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from UAA softball. Like,
absolutely.
Like pitching off or throwing off, pitching
off.
Just
starting off. Yeah,
first
pitch.
Starting off. Yeah,
but like it's part of that is I'm sitting and I'm thinking, and I can think of two people in two movies that kind of shaped what I do, for a living. One of which you're going to roll your eyes at, but it also is probably the reason why I was infatuated with this woman when I was little. And it was the movie Straight Talk. No, and I know that you don't know what these two movies are, but Straight Talk is a movie where Dolly Parton goes and she becomes a radio talk show host in Chicago. She accidentally gets a job, and she's a radio talk show host. And that's like the first time I ever heard of like talk radio. Okay. And so now I went, oh, okay. Like I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's probably also the reason why I've had a thing for Dolly Parton my entire life.
Mine was Radio Rebel.
Yeah. See?
I know you know about that.
Yeah, so, but then at the same time, sports play-by-play would be because of Bob Uecker and because of the movie Major Leagues.
Okay.
And so those were the movies that I mean, I sit there and I think about it, and you want to come up with the funny catchphrases, and you want to say all those things like, you know, Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn and all the nicknames that we come up with, and a lot of the things that I kind of joke with the Havoc that we joked on the Havoc Hour on Tuesday night is like, guys, I'm trying to come up with all these great like goal scoring calls for you guys, but you got to score them first. Like, you know, we're saying, and I'm going with that is because of the way that Bob Uecker said things like, unless he's got a rocket up his butt, he's not catching that one. You know, that sort of thing. I don't think I could say that during the UAH broadcast. Just, you know, but it's those types of things that you would say. And this is,
well, you're still building your legacy. Yeah. And for him, he built it at an early age, and then it just kind of went on for the rest of his career. And he had a very long career at that.
Well, and I think that it's just the fact that he was able to joke about himself in a sport where everybody took themselves so incredibly seriously. Because Bob Uecker was a guy that he sucked. He knew he sucked, but he didn't suck enough that he couldn't make it to the major leagues. Yeah. He just sucked once he got there. And then he understood it. Like, there was that one time about like, oh, well, Bob, how do you catch a knuckleball? He's like, oh, well, that's easy. He's like, catching knucklers are easy. I wait for it to stop. When it hits the backstop, I go grab it, and I throw it back to the pitcher. Like, it's that sort of stuff. Like, it was just self-deprecating humor that he had that just made baseball a lot more fun. Plus the fact he's such an amazing storyteller. Like, he was. The gift of being able to tell a story off the cuff is just absolutely beautiful. And he did that. And, yeah, I got to meet him the one time he was in Huntsville. The Huntsville Stars were playing. It was when they were the Brewers affiliate. They were playing, I want to say it may have been the Jacksonville Sun, because before they changed their name to the Jumbo Shrimp and before they went to AAA, because it was Marlins and Brewers that were playing each other. And Jacksonville was the AA affiliate of the Marlins then, too. So it was that, and Bob Uecker was there. All the Brewers players were there, and I got to meet him then.
Well, that's a pretty cool experience you get, at least. And I know Tom probably has a few stories to tell about Bob Uecker as well. He probably has them in his phone. No doubt about it.
He does.
Yeah, you already know?
I'm assuming so.
He's got John. I think he's got John Elway in his phone, so he's got to have Uecker.
We were talking about A.J. Brown's book that he was reading on the sidelines the other day, and I said, yeah, I just bought it. I was like, I do Audible. And so, you know, and I was sitting and I was telling him, he's like, it takes you forever to read. I said, I know. I've been trying to finish this Robin Williams book for like 2 months now because I only get like a 30-minute drive to listen to it instead of like a 2.5 and 3 hour drive. And then he starts popping off with a Robin Williams story of when he met him when Robin was filming a movie.
He's got a story for everybody.
Like, I'm like, dude, I just want to sit here and talk about it. I mean, I was just telling you I was reading a Robin Williams book. It's really cool, but in the end, it's kind of depressing. But at the same time, it's an amazing book.
Yeah, that is kind of the way it is. Yeah. A lot of fun, a lot of jokes, but at the same time, you don't know what people are going through until you actually get to dissect the brain.
Well, and for anybody that's wondering about Robin Williams, if you know kind of what happened, he actually was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And after he did what he did, it found out that he actually didn't have that. He actually had dementia, and he had been misdiagnosed.
That's a scary thing, right there.
That's so that's where like with that, that's kind of the thing. So like I'm even looking up right now like the top 25 sayings that of Bob Uecker's. I remember one time I'm batting against the Dodgers in Milwaukee. They lead 2-1. It's the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and the pitcher has a full count on me. I look over to the Dodger dugout, and they're already in their street clothes.
That one just jumps up on you too.
Yeah, he's like, it's already there. Yeah, you know, he goes, I knew my career was over. In 1965, my baseball card came out with no picture.
How is that even possible? And the gum wasn't stale.
Yeah, he says, I think my top salary was maybe in 1966. I made $17,000, and 11 of that came from selling other players' equipment.
Really, if he wasn't a broadcaster, he could have been a stand-up comedian.
Oh no, and I guarantee you that if Bob Uecker during the offseason, if he had ever wanted to, he could have done a tour and just sit up on the stage on a stool telling stories, and I promise you, every venue would have sold out.
I would have paid for that for sure.
Me and Bandy both would be sitting in front row, just like, And I'd be falling asleep a little bit, and then he'd hit me with a really good one. Everybody would erupt in laughter, and I'll be like, I'm back. I'm back.
And I'll be sitting here like everybody else going, all right, that's cool. Thanks for all the baseball stories. So tell me about Major League. Like, I want to know everything.
Tell me about Major League.
Tell me about Major League right now. Was that really Jack Daniels you were drinking in the press box? Like, what was that? I just need to know.
I wasn't working with 2.5 Man.
Yeah, no. Did he really? Did you ever try to bat against him? Like, what was going on in this? So, like, how fast was Willie Mays Hayes? Both of them.
Look, is that Tiger Blood in
Wesley Snipes as well as who the other guy was?
Is that whole Tiger Blood rumor thing true?
Yes. By the way, for real and no joke, this is actually a true story. Charlie Sheen was actually so good at pitching when he was doing that movie because he learned how to pitch.
They had to break his arm? No,
that he was actually throwing like 85 plus.
Wow.
When he was actually throwing.
I didn't need to stand-in for him.
No, he was actually throwing like 85 plus.
Gotta look
like there was people that were thinking like, oh, we're gonna need to CGI this or whatever. No, he learned how to pitch. And he really did pitch it that well.
Wow. Well, that's definitely intriguing. I would like to see Charlie Sheen's stat line actually in the past to see if he played baseball before he actually did the role in, of course, Major League. But, of course, the big story, Bob Uecker passing away at the age of 90. We talked a little bit about him. We got to remember him a little bit. Phone lines are still open to you. If you have a different memory of the broadcaster and also an MLB player, 256-576.
97.7.
The number 2 hop in. Joe, what do you got?
The highlight of my baseball career came in Philadelphia's Connie Mack Stadium when I saw a fan fall out of the upper deck. When he got up and walked away, the crowd booed.
What? Golly. Those are always the most terrifying stories. When they don't get up.
The way to catch a knuckleball is to wait until it stops rolling and then pick it up. I told you, like that's Bob Uecker, man. Like
these are all just on the
It is, and it sucks that the man's passed away. But at the same time, you have so many amazing stories. But remember, this is another one that for a lot of people listening here, because you may have forgotten, Bob Uecker was on the call when the Atlanta Braves won the World Series in '95.
Yeah,
he was in the booth. It was a 3-man booth. He was part of it. Like it was, so you, even with Atlanta Braves fans, they have the connection with Uecker because Uecker was in the booth for CBS when that game was taking place.
Phone calls as well as some NFL coaching conversation coming up, as well as continuing to remember, of course, the late Bob Uecker. On the other side of the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. What are you laughing at, Joe? I need to know.
1962, I was named Minor League Player of the Year.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
The electricity, the atmosphere.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the College Football Playoff National Championship, presented by AT&T. Coverage begins Monday, January 20th at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
It's the beauty of college football.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
The electricity, the atmosphere.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the college football playoff national championship, presented by AT&T. Coverage begins Monday, January 20th at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
It's the beauty of college football.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I got two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need two.
You'll find it. I want to find it. I don't know how that happens.
It's one of those things where you think you know where something's at, and then the next day you're just like, wait, where did I put that? I had it in my hand. Yeah. I can visualize it, but where did I put it?
Yeah, I had that this morning with my car keys.
You ever have this with an item where you can recall, if you're talking about 10 seconds that you had this item and you placed it somewhere and you're trying to figure out where you placed it, and you can recall 8 of the 10 seconds that you had it. The problem is you can recall second 1 through 8, but not second 9 and 10.
Yeah.
That is where I'm at with this. I've been searching for this microphone all morning, and I knew and I remember having it in my hands yesterday morning when I was in the studio. I remember looking at it to see if it was on so that we didn't run down a battery. I thought I placed it somewhere, but now I can't find the thing.
You'll find it.
No, I would love to find it.
You know what? It's gone for a reason. But it
Yeah,
better
me.
show up.
God
It
works
better
in
show-
mysterious ways.
It better show up. 'cause
Me.
I know this is
But I
expensive.
know-
Yeah, better show up
but-
or Joe's not working this weekend.
No, the worst one too, Joe. I know you got this problem too because we're the same way. But you know how you got your tasks you're going through. You're going through the day. You're walking through your house. And you're like, all right, I got to go to this room to get this one thing. You walk in the room and completely forget why you were even in there in the first place.
That's me every time I hop onto my phone or my computer at that.
Well, guys, I'll tell you, 1962, I was named Minor League Player of the Year.
Okay.
It was my second season in the bigs. It could just keep going.
They don't start funny, but they get so
Yeah.
funny once you turn the corner.
People don't know this, but I helped the Cardinals win the pennant. I came down with hepatitis because the trainer injected me with it.
While you're talking, all right, and saying all this stuff that Bob Uecker used to say, I noticed there's a fortune cookie, an unopened fortune cookie inside the trash can down here, and I'm skeptical of whether or not I want to grab it. But I'm not going to eat it. That's disgusting. But I will grab it out of the trash.
Look, there's a lesson in there somewhere about digging your fortune out of the trash.
When I played baseball, I got death threats all the time from my mother.
Get off the mound!
Well,
you stink!
Well, you know who hopefully never got death threats from his mother?
Who?
Smokey Mike. He's on my hotline joining us right now. What's going on, Smokey?
I want to read this. I'm going to read it.
Lord, that is so much of a word salad that has happened in the last 10 minutes that I can go absolutely anywhere and just go with the flow of the show.
Yeah.
And First of all, let's just shout out Marty for being the best color commentator in movie history because all he did was just let Bob Uecker do his thing.
Yeah.
And
Dynamite drop in there, Monty.
Oh, Monty, not Marty. My bad.
Yeah, dynamite drop in. Those broadcasting school lessons are really paying off. Dude, I'm telling you, I've watched these movies 6 trillion times.
Joe's got a lot of
Take
time.
it over, Monty. I'm in the bag.
Yeah.
Me?
Me? Fly ball. Caught.
Sometimes baseball's the easiest call.
I would just hear Euchre's stories about Andre the Giant, and that because him at WrestleMania during that time, like Bob Uecker had a glorious time doing professional wrestling, and so I would just listen to all those stories that he had with the backstage with the wrestlers and all that.
Oh yeah, because people don't realize that he was one of the guest he was the guest what's it called interviewers backstage, wasn't he? Like I can't remember if it was WrestleMania 1, 2, or 3. I don't think it was 3.
It was 3 and 4. Or no, it was 4 and 5 because they were both at the Orange Man's venue.
Oh yeah, that was okay. 4 and 5. So yeah, he had the Mega Powers Collide, and he also had the championship tournament. God,
oh my God! Like you guys, geez, going all over the place. I don't even know where else to go after this. Like, I could go wrestling. Speaking of like Tom and his stories and all that stuff, Joe, I know you probably got somebody from AEW about set up to come because they're going to be in town here in the next couple of weeks.
It's actually funny you mentioned that because we actually just got word the other night that's coming up on the 27th, 28th, because it is going to be AEW is going to be live on the 29th at the VBC. On the 28th, Jeff Jarrett is going to join us in studio.
There you go.
Of course it's going to be Jeff Jarrett because you know what? I'm going to tell you about him hitting him over the head with the guitar.
I've gotten to interview Jeff in Montgomery. I've gotten to talk to him in Nashville, and so amazing guy. And he just said that he is about to retire from professional wrestling, and it's going to be really fun. No. It is.
That was a hell of a promo he put on MJF last night, though.
Yes, it was.
That was, I'm the last Outlaw is going to have a fun time on his last bit. And, I wouldn't mind seeing the last bit of gold run for Mr. Wii U.
Yeah. No, and I tell you that him getting at least one last championship run, I think that it would with the way that we talk about the Ric Flair in the last match and how everything kind of went down with him trying to be the mega heel to go to Ric Flair being the mega face in that, but that also kind of rejuvenated his career as well. Like that's the reason for this AEW run is because of what he did at Ric Flair's last match.
Like, he was the MVP for Ric Flair's last match.
Oh, absolutely.
He was top notch. He did exactly what is supposed to be done. And you know what? My last question and this one's going to be for Joe because you two, the other two, not big into wrestling, and I understand that.
No, we can't recite all of this
it's
stuff.
It's Rumble, it's Mania season, so we're getting into it right now. Joe, who's Cena who do you want to see Cena face on 420?
Oh my heavens! God, it's still weird. I actually do want to see Cena and Punk.
Me too.
I really kind of do. I know that. I think the reason for it is because I just sit back and think about 2012. I think about the Money in the Bank, all the storytelling that came along with Punk and the championship and all that. Like, I really would love to see CM Punk in 2024 with basically how less he cares even now, and WWE's ability to allow them to kind of be more wide open with their scripts and with their promos, and he and John Cena go out to the ring and be able to kind of free flow it like they did back in the 90s. I kind of want to see that.
Man. Yeah, that would be. I would want that to be the Mania match, but the last match has to be RKO. Like, I think you would agree with me on that one. Like, his final match needs to be RKO.
Well, no, I'll tell you this. I want it to be RKO unless it's Edge.
That is true.
If it could be Edge, then I want it to be Edge. But if nobody else, then RKO's right.
Yeah, I would most definitely agree with that. And boy, do I wish I could be at Mania this year, being in Vegas on 420. That would be a fantastic time to be there.
It's going to be, I don't know why, it's going to be very foggy that day. I don't think that you're going to be able to really see a lot around the Vegas Strip. The lights and all that, normally really beautiful whenever you're flying in. Don't think that's going to be the case on that night, but,
No.
You.
And I hear RVD lives in Vegas too, so I would want to swing by over there too before I.
Do they have a Radio Row? Can we go to WrestleMania Radio Row?
That would be fun.
Please. Okay,
I bet you with all the like Netflix and all this other stuff. And by the way, after I get done here, let me know your opinion on Raw on Netflix and their first couple weeks. I think it's been absolutely excellent. But I mean, with the way they've done media nowadays, and now they're doing press conferences, I would bet they would have a Radio Row.
Oh, if they have a Radio Row for WrestleMania, we're so going to Vegas.
Sign me up, man.
We are. We'd like literally be having to educate John.
I would learn. I have plenty of time, and it would also be my birthday, so that would be awesome.
We'll spend $420 in Vegas. Nothing can go wrong with
it.
Yeah,
surely not.
No, nothing can go
surely not.
No, we're good.
I'm going to jail.
Yeah. But no, and Smoke, we appreciate it. But I will tell you that if you have not watched Raw in years, wrestling in years, anything like that, the wrestling that you're getting on Monday Night Raw now from the way that they have started to change things with Netflix, it is way more adult.
Well, it's raw. It's exactly what it is.
It's more raw.
Yeah, it's more raw. I mean, again, you've got The Rock dropping. Dropping cuss words left and right.
No way.
You have all these different storylines that are going on that they're able to kind of go over the intended. We'll just say line that they used to be able to with USA. Yeah. The Raw can either be 2 hours, 3 hours, or like 3.5 hours based on how everything is going. Yeah. So. It is way more entertaining and way more exciting because you genuinely feel like you don't know what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
And with somebody like what we're talking about with CM Punk, who is so amazing on a microphone, speaking of, as we've been talking about Bob Uecker and how amazing he is on a microphone, if you let somebody like CM Punk and them tell him he doesn't have a filter because he's on Netflix, you are going to get some of the best promos you have ever heard in your life.
No doubt.
So that's why I really enjoy it. Like, I actually find myself going back and watching it like the night after if I miss something.
Well,
I missed this Monday night, and so I turned it back on just so I can watch Penta debut.
Yeah, I'm not here to say like swearing is cool, but you do, unlock a lot of these guys, and they're able to start, talking the way that normal people would talk, except for guys that are gigantic and ready to just rip each other's heads off. I mean, it is a sport that's all about aggression. Well, so give them the ability to talk like a person who is literally about to go and fight somebody in the front of thousands of fans.
Well, I think a lot of this is, and I've worked with some professional wrestlers even here locally, like on the indie scene and stuff. Is the one thing that indie guys love, and one thing that we used to love about professional wrestling is your ability to talk on a microphone. Mm-hmm. And with WWE, I've seen it both ways, where they would literally just give you a few bullet points. You need to make sure you say X, Y, and Z, but when you say this line right here, that's when something's supposed to happen. Or you've had the way where I remember one time backstage at a SmackDown, Christian is walking around and he has like note cards that are and he's just going over his entire script that he's supposed to read once he gets out there. And so their ability now to kind of let them free flow a little bit more, let them be able to, if they come up with an idea and a comment that they can make, they can take that jab, they do it where they used to not be able to. Mm-hmm. That's the part that's really entertaining now, because you can tell it's less scripted, and it is a lot more the wrestlers actually showing their abilities to talk on a microphone, which we all know is not easy to do.
I mean, says you.
No, it is not easy to do at all.
I was, the whole time you were talking, I was thinking, maybe we should do a little wrestling thing ourselves. What would we say?
Dude, I've been trying.
Joe, this is what's going to happen on Sunday night. I'm going to get you, and I'm going to break you, and I'm going to bend you, and I'm going to throw you out the ring.
I'm still waiting for the tag team match, dude.
So am I. Yeah. So am I.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I think this is kind of on John at this point.
How is this on me?
Because you're the one that's supposed to find the venue.
You need to get with it, brother.
We can literally go over there and do it today if we want.
Call them.
I don't gotta call them. They love us so much over there. Divergence VR theme park. If the guys are listening, just hit us up and we'll come over.
I'm gonna give you these hands, brother.
We came up with this idea for Beat the Blitz, and we're literally staring at John, going, "Do it!" Like it's straight Mortal Kombat. Finish him!
I don't get paid enough for this.
You would if you called them.
I got a fortune cookie I want to open, all right? I want to open this fortune cookie, and maybe it'll say something about that. Real quick, WZZ TV gets the full effect. I'll clean up the mess afterwards. I'm not going to eat this cookie.
Why?
I'm not going to eat the cookie that was in the trash, Joe. I just want to read the fortune.
It was covered.
Yeah, but still,
It's in the
trash.
plastic. It's not wet, is
Why
it?
is it so hard to open? Okay, I got it.
Your fortune is that you're not going to be able to open that.
And we will get back into the phone lines. 256-5764.
977
is the number to hop in. Okay, here we go. The one we've been waiting to read all show long. At least I have. You will find joy in the present moment.
Of Colin Divergent.
You know
to
what?
get them
No,
to sponsor Beat the Blitz.
I already find joy doing
Don't
the show
throw that
with you
away.
guys. That's history.
No,
right
not
there.
that. I'm talking about the cookie.
Are you gonna? Okay.
Why did you turn? Go to the phone lines.
All right. You know what? Hey, we're going up to the borough. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
Pretty guys, guys. Well, what is this deal with college football? What do you want them to do? I saw somebody tell you, John, don't tell me all the whole thing about what college football needs to do to start the season. What do you want them to do? They start the season now. Well, what do you want?
No. The Army. It was talked about the Army-Navy game being the start to the college football season.
Yeah.
Why?
Instead of having it pinched in between.
Why do we need to move it? Well, why is it? Why can't we just leave things alone and
That's not us saying it. That was Joe Klatt that said that.
Well, I don't care what Joe Klatt says. I don't care what you. I mean,
We wanted your opinion on it, so that's why I'm glad you called in.
My opinion is leave it alone. Quit messing with it. It's like NFL kickoff. Go back to what it was. Don't have people standing still like some stone while they catch the ball. It's stupid. Okay? Or do like the CFL and make your return punts and kickoff. No fair catches. Return the darn thing. If you don't, if it goes in the end zone, it's a point for the other team. No touchbacks. That's what they ought to do. No touchbacks at all. Just run it out. It's just, you're a wimp when you don't. That's what y'all ought to do. And leave college football. Leave it alone. If they're fine playing the last game of the year, they don't need to be playing the first. Well, why do we have the Daytona 500 first of the year? It's a nobody cares sport anyway. They're not athletes. You ride around a track all day long. Ride around a track for 5 hours. That's not athletics to me. Driving 500 miles whoopee.
Yeah.
Whoopee.
I'm with Jeff on the NASCAR. I'm sorry.
I'm with Jeff.
That's cars. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
1 out of 3 care.
When y'all 3 care, but nobody else does.
No.
1 out of these 3 care.
No. 1 out of 3 has 33%. That ain't enough.
And that's why we don't talk about it.
Well, you don't need to because it's not a sport. And they're not athletes. It's not athletes. Ride around some track for 5 hours and try to circles. That's not or going around a roundabout. That ain't athletic to me. Okay. Let's have what's his name? Competitive eating. You want to have the 4th of July hot dog contest?
Oh, Joey Chestnut.
That makes me
Is that athletic? You ramming down hot dogs and dunking them in the water and ramming down 100 hot dogs.
You say like Tom says.
3 minutes.
That's a competition. I think NASCAR, on the other hand,
competition on how to regurgitate stuff real fast, how to throw up real fast.
That's the after show.
Yeah, well, they after contest over the trash can throwing up in them. But don't mess with college football. It's too long anyway. They've already said the ratings are so low for the playoffs. That's why the season's too doggone long, and you all love every minute of it. If the season lasts till April, you love it. You want 24/7 football. Everybody knows what you 3 want. You ain't worried about hoops on these other sports. You ain't worried about them.
I mean, we talked the first hour all about basketball, but all right.
But no, it's all about football. If you reach the football blitz, that's all it's about. NFL playoff, NFL draft. We all know where the Titans are drafted. We all know what they're going to do.
We were talking hoops in the first hour, but
we didn't talk second hour yesterday. You gonna talk with third hour?
We were talking Bob Euchre.
Yeah.
I've never heard. Who was that? Oh, yeah.
You've never heard of Bob.
That's that guy that's for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's never won anything. Never won no World Series.
Yeah, he did.
I got there, but they didn't win nothing.
Oh, my God.
So I might well. So you might well. Well, maybe they're new now, so they'll help them to win. Maybe they'll help them. There's a guy up here I know that Brewers fan. I guess he can wait for that World Series shirt about 21-24 to win 100 years from now. They can win for that.
Jeff, are you a half glass full or a half glass empty kind of guy?
I think we know the answer.
I'm a full glass guy.
I very much doubt that. I very much doubt that.
Because my teams win. My teams don't play HCBT. My teams don't get excited when they go to a Final Four and have some announcer come on 97.7. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. I wouldn't go to the Final Four all my life. Boo-hoo. Alabama crying and boo-hooing because his dream was down to the Final Four. Give me a break, okay?
Well, no, you live in a state that gets excited for the Final Four because they don't know what it's like to be in a
Yeah,
college football national
you sure don't know what it's like. You're hugging that banner at Coleman Coliseum, that dump over there.
Why do you always want to put me with the Alabama
Because
group?
Alabama and Georgia have the worst basketball facilities in the SEC, and you two know it. Y'all know it. You don't know that?
No,
Georgia's court is pretty god-awful.
No, Coleman is awful.
But Soviet Coliseum smoking them
But
cigars.
why do I get grouped in the Bama conversation? I don't care.
That is true. You get Alabama Station, are you not? It's in Huntsville, Alabama.
So what? Just because? So if you live in Kentucky, do I just automatically say you're a Louisville fan?
No, I'm a Kentucky fan. I ain't no Louisville mess. We ain't fooling with that. That's little brother. We ain't fooling with him. That's little brother.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. It's not right for me to say Louisville for you, but you say Alabama for me.
Well, I mean,
Gotcha,
you wear UAH baseball, so what they start in January 31st. Well, I hope they can get some snowball play out there. It'd be pretty cold out there playing, so hope they got some hoodies out there playing Huntsville.
Baseball starts in
Huntsville
February.
Hoodies. No, UAH started January 31st. You said.
Well, okay, one day before February. I'm so sorry.
Division 2. Division 2, I understand. Division 1 starts February 14th, Valentine's Day. The January 31st, we've got a Groundhog Day luncheon up here that kicks off our baseball season.
That's
Alma Mater does. And you can come down.
sweet.
You can come down to the menus: ham hocks, white beans, tomato salad, and for dessert, ice cream and chocolate cakes is $35. Come on down.
That's not really good.
Actually, I
Come on
was
down.
going to make fun of that.
Come on down.
Yeah, no, that's not really good.
Come on down. $35 a piece. That'll get you to help our baseball program out.
All right.
Y'all come on down and have y'all a good meal that day. Come on down here in 2 weeks and get you a good lunch. Come on down.
No, thanks for that.
Well,
Joe.
Y'all hang in there, guys, and have a good week. Enjoy the basketball or was it XFL football coming up soon?
Oh, it's coming up, baby.
Looking for the 4P Birmingham Stallions. Let's go.
The spring football, but nobody cares leagues. The championship ring costs 50 cents. So y'all hang in there, guys. See y'all.
Good stuff from you, man. I love how it went from just like, I don't know where we're going to go. It was like, is he going to disrespect Euchre? I was like, he doesn't even know about it. And then I was just like, oh, he's inviting us to a luncheon. I'm so excited.
What's bad about that is I actually sat here and I was like, so what would happen if we actually went to the luncheon?
All three of us show up. We're here. Roll Tide.
You told us we could be here.
I mean, now I'm kind of curious about the luncheon. I mean, I literally was in the borough on Sunday, so like I'm kind of curious about the luncheon.
I know.
I wanted to make fun of it, but then when he started going through the menu, I went, "Oh wait, that's actually
Like, he
not
was
bad."
genuine about that.
Yeah, like he knows the menu.
He's trying to just get some more people in there, and I definitely respect that grind.
Luncheon.
Yeah, look into that because we're gonna definitely we're gonna see what we can do to get up
Groundhog
there.
Day luncheon is set for January 31st.
Okay.
It is the 52nd annual Groundhog Luncheon at MTSU. Yeah, $30 for alums, $35 for general admission, $250 for a table.
I'm going for that.
Ham hocks, white beans, tomato salad, green onions, cornbread, chocolate cake, and ice cream. Did he just read the website?
No, he had that in his mind. Some people are like that. They just got the food on their mind. Scott Tyson's one of those guys.
That is true.
Yeah, it's happening on the 31st at the Student Ballroom.
Very nice.
Student Union Ballroom.
Well, we'll hop to break after that because I got to breathe a little bit. Joe needs to continue salivating over this luncheon that we might go to, I guess.
Yeah, Crimson Carl, stay on the line, brother.
Yeah, we'll get to you right when we come back here on
ham
the
hocks
Morning
is
Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
electricity, the atmosphere.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the College Football Playoff National Championship, presented by AT&T. Coverage begins Monday, January 20th at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
It's the beauty of college football.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final segment of the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, Bailey Lowery. I'd like to remind you that this show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. We got a little bit of time, so we will get into the phone lines, and then Joe will also have a little thing that he gets into. But before we do that, Crimson Carl is on with us. Crimson Carl, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing okay. How are y'all?
Wonderful, man.
Hey, listen, I just need to rebuttal about this Jeff guy, man. And, you know, I hear him in the morning. I hear him in the afternoon. And pardon, you know, I got a little cold, so, you know, my voice may sound a little stupid. But,
don't worry about it. I'm right there with you, brother.
But, I mean, this Jeff guy, I mean, you know, he's a Kentucky fan, all from Tennessee to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He hates everything, NASCAR, and oh, by the way, I will be watching the Daytona 500.
I'll be right with you, brother.
Yes, indeed. Go Kyle Busch. But anyway, this guy calls every show, every hour. And Joe, tell me something. Have they banned his ass up there in Nashville?
Yeah. Yeah, they have.
This is the reason why he's calling down here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, not surprising. I mean, that's why, and he probably has no family that'll listen to him because he's just a schmuck. But
we're about to have a luncheon with the schmuck, so I mean.
No, don't say it yet.
I
Again, I just thought about it. I was like, well, that actually does sound kind of fun.
well, I know you and your dad and stuff's up there from New York. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Wanted to be, cordial.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I just get tired of this guy bumping his gums all the time. But love the show. Don't get to call in much because I'm usually working, but I'm off on Thursdays. But I just wanted to say, man, y'all do a good job. Keep it going on.
All right, well, we appreciate
Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, feel better too. This weather, man, it's hitting everyone like a truck.
Yeah, but Crimson Carl, again, appreciate the love and as well as, of course, the feedback on some of the callers. I'm all for it, all right, every once in a while, but it can get a little much at times. But again, I don't want to say never again will Jeff call in because, I'm not going to do that.
No, well, and again, first off, I just love that diversity. I mean, that's my biggest thing. If you don't disagree, or if you do disagree with us, I love that even more.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy civil conversations when they're civil. So also, and we haven't gotten to mention this. So before the show wraps up, and obviously there's some things I want to talk about at the very end. Deion Sanders, apparently, according to Ed Warner, is saying that he would almost certainly take the Dallas Cowboys job if it was offered to him.
Jerry Jones, you know what to do, man.
Seeds are being planted.
You get more eyes on your team.
That being said, the Cowboys have also requested to interview Kellen Moore, who is a former Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more of a reasonable pickup right there.
Well, it's potato to an extent. Like, at least one has the NFL experience in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
The other one does have the ability to, you could see, get the best out of his players. And we do see a lot of coaches that can make the NFL jump. And again, if there's anybody that knows about doing things for the money and focusing on the money, it is Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there we go. Coming up on Saturday night, we are going to be broadcasting live from the VBC because of the Huntsville Havoc game that they have against the Macon Mayhem. Puck's going to drop at 7 o'clock. We've got a game coming up on Friday as well. That one is not only going to be on the Havoc Zone on 97.7 ESPN.com as well as 97.7 ESPN The Zone's app. Make sure that you download those. But it's also going to be on Channel 48, 48.3 to be specific for you so that you can watch Havoc Hockey there. They're going to be simulcasting this as we're playing it. There's going to be 4 separate games that are going to be broadcast on it. Now, Friday night is sold out. It is Bluey night. And it is going to be absolutely amazing because, matter of fact, I watched 3 Bluey episodes last night. But
it's a great show.
I did. But coming up on Saturday night, it is the Melissa George night, and that is going to be the 19th annual Melissa George night. And if you don't know a lot about this, can go to the Huntsville Havoc website and do this. This is obviously trying to benefit the NICU at Huntsville Hospital as well as raise money for a bunch of fantastic causes with this. I bring it up because a lot of people don't know this. Obviously, you know that my wife is pregnant, what we haven't really talked about on the air. And yes, this is going to sound weird. Not only is my wife pregnant, but my niece was pregnant as well. And she had her daughter last week. And her name is Evie. Absolutely a beautiful, gorgeous little girl. But she was only 4 pounds. And so as a precautionary measure, the doctors at Huntsville Hospital put her in the NICU, where she has been since the moment that she was born. And so her mom just got to hold her for the first time, like maybe 24 hours later. And so it's one of these emotional situations whenever you see a family and you see a child in the NICU and all of the babies that are in there are in there for various reasons. But my niece's daughter is in the NICU. And one thing as part of this Melissa George night that is going on is they being the Huntsville Havoc, all of the players actually sat down in the VBC lobby and built quilts for the babies at the NICU.
Oh.
Wait, the players themselves made the quilts?
The players themselves made the quilts.
Wow.
And then yesterday afternoon, they took the quilts to Huntsville Hospital, and they gave them to the families and the babies that are in the NICU. My niece was one of those.
That's
And
pretty
so,
cool.
and I say this because she got to meet the players. Evie got to meet the players. I mean, Evie's only, a week old.
She'll
but
remember.
She got to meet the players. And what was odd about this, my wife just happened to be there at the exact same time, and she got to meet all the players.
Sweet.
So I found out later on that it was Robo that actually gave them the blanket.
There you go.
And it was Dom is the one that made the blanket.
That's sweet.
So I wanted to thank both of those guys, and we'll talk about it more on the Havoc Hour coming up on Tuesday, but I wanted to thank those guys because my niece was looking forward to this, and she had been talking about it for 24 hours before she even knew that she was going to be getting a blanket.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Lucas as well as all the Havoc players for going over there and spending time with Evie as well as my niece. Thank you guys so much.
Definitely a cool story. 22-hour break. We'll be right back. Can't believe you ate that cookie.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have.